And we're back with our guest, Ali Sattar, CEO and founder of Simplify. Welcome to the show, Ali.
Thank you, Hala.
First of all, if you can give us a brief about Simplify, the services you guys provide.
Sure. So Simplify is a financial technology company, fintech as people call it. It's a B2B, which means that we serve clients and customers are businesses. And these businesses could be startups, it could be SMEs, it could be multinationals, it could be large companies, even governments. So what we do is we enable these businesses to issue payment cards, a Visa card, a MasterCard card, just like a card that you use every day, right? It's the same sort of card, but it is used by businesses to digitize their own business expenses.
That's amazing. But my question is, why would people use those cards, not the regular bank cards that we get?
Yeah, let me give you some examples of these use cases. So let's say an airline has to pay its staff, the crew members who are flying all over, right? So a crew member goes to Riyadh and they have to pay, I don't know, $100 per night for per diem, right? For their out-of-pocket expenses. And then that a crew member goes to Europe and they have to pay 150 euros and so on. Now the airline can issue these cards and push money into these cards for their crew members to use $100, in Riyadh for the next 3 days. Then in Europe, they go after 2 weeks, they spend 150 euros. So the company, the airline can push money in as they want, when they want, control the expenses and say, look, this money cannot be used in these locations. You cannot go and spend money online and so on. So if you're issuing cards as a business and you have all these controls, that makes it very, very powerful. Because today these cards are really consumer cards that banks issue, not businesses issuing cards for their own B2B expenses. And if you can imagine, there'll be so many expenses and so many different use cases that businesses have, which makes it very powerful.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask. Since you started the business till now, and especially with the startup scene in the MENA region, what's the effect of Simplify on it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're still a startup. We're building the infrastructure. So what we're doing is really democratizing card issuance, as we call it, right? Mm-hmm. So if you look in your purse, in your bag, in your wallet, you'll see cards, Visa, MasterCard cards. They all have a bank logo. They're all issued by banks. Now, what we're doing is we're enabling businesses to issue cards, but doing all that in a compliant and secure manner, right? It's a regulated product. We have to get approvals from the central banks. We have to work with banks and other ecosystem partners, which is why it takes time to build the infrastructure. So we have built the infrastructure over the last year and a half, and we are in the process of launching in multiple markets now with different clients.
And we're back with our guest, Ali Sattar, CEO and founder of Simplify. Welcome to the show.
It could be small businesses for expense management, petty cash, and so on. All that digitization will happen, where a lot of cash is changing hands. We could start doing it through cards. So that's in markets like Pakistan and Egypt. And the next wave of banking penetration will happen through this infrastructure, or at least we will play a role in this, right? That's on one side. Second side is, UAE, Saudi, etc., where again, there's a lot of cash happening, but people have cards. So we're digitizing more the B2B side, where the examples I gave you can be digitized in a very efficient manner, as opposed to going through, clunky bank transfers, which take time and so on and so forth.
And I think you guys play a role as well in spreading awareness about changing the behavior into the card system, right?
Yeah, so look, today cards again are used for consumer payments. You go to the shop to buy a cup of coffee or you buy something online, and that's really what the cards are used for. But cards have a lot of use cases to pay salaries, commissions, even cards for fueling for logistics companies. The cards can only be used at petrol stations. For loyalty redemption, when you have loyalty points, you have to then convert them into money and use them. Yeah. You could not convert them into money on a card and then use that card, right? Buy now, pay later platforms are coming up that want to issue cards. Grocery shopping, food delivery, people like Talabat and Kareem and Deliveroo, they can facilitate those payments using cards. So, there's an endless number of use cases if you can digitize those B2B payments, which are not happening very efficiently, either cash or where the bank transfer system is just not It's just not the way to do it.
And is there a limit on the card, for instance, or anything, or they can put as much as they want?
Yeah, absolutely. So depending on the use case and who's funding the card, if it's a B2B payment, a business is funding it, then the limits would naturally be a little bit higher. For consumer cards, it'll be lower. So it depends on the use cases. These are all compliant products. We work with the regulator, we work with banks in each market to ensure that we are fully compliant, and the bank obviously has full oversight into the product. So they impose those limits. And of course, we want to have those limits for risk management purposes.
Of course. Is there any like future plans for Simplify that you have in line for now?
Yeah, so we are expanding very rapidly, alhamdulillah. We're expanding in multiple markets. So we want to go live in at least 5 markets this year.
Nice.
And we have a pipeline of a good number of clients, including some of the very large clients that or brands that you've heard of in the region. I can't reveal them, but in due course, in a short period of time, you'll see those cards out there in the market being used by people. So yeah, we want to go live in a few markets, at least 5 markets this year in the region, and continue to then expand different use cases in those markets.
That's really great. And also like everything is online on your platform, like even the portal, you can even manage the card status and all of those things online.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? So we give all the tools, controls, capabilities to the businesses to issue a card, to activate a card as they want, to block the cards, to cancel the cards, to change limits, to even have control. So you can even say, look, this card can only be used in Riyadh for the next 3 days, for example. Or this card can be used only between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. You can make a lot of these different controls, and that's the beauty of it, right? So if you are the one issuing that card and you have all those controls, then you can spin out so many different use cases and customize your product in how you want it, right? To meet your business needs. And this is not permanent changes. You can change it every day or every hour, whatever you want, right? These controls can be changed at will, which gives the power to the business and makes it a lot more relevant.
Exactly, and secure as well. That's I think, very, very important point as well. That's very interesting, Ali. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing those insightful and those insights.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. شكرا لكل الناس اللي تابعتنا. أنا بشوفكم بكرة بنفس الموعد. نهاركم سعيد جميعا.